Hey, how's it going? So I just wanted to make a video discussing the recent Nintendo Switch 2 Direct and just go over the hardware itself and the games that were announced to be coming onto the console. And pretty much just to get out of the way, it looks like the console is going to launch on June 5th. Looks like it's going to be around $450 to $500 depending on if you get the bundle with Mario Kart. It looks like pre-orders are starting on April 9th, and something I kind of want to cover in a separate video, that looks like, I guess, the digital games for the higher end Nintendo exclusives are going to be $80. So that's just to cover the surface of how it is shaping up. To go into more detail, it looks like the actual Switch 2 screen itself, it looks like it's going to be 1080p up to 120 FPS, which kind of surprised me because I was honestly thinking just the screen itself was going to be probably 30 FPS, like a steady 30, and then docked it was probably going to be 60, but just the screen itself looks like it's going to be 120 FPS, which, I mean, kind of skeptical, also pretty excited on how much performance they were able to add to this newest version of the Switch. It looks like the screen is also going to be a LCD screen with HDR support. So if you're somebody who has a OLED Switch like me, looks like you're going to be having to deal with a LCD screen, but it's probably going to be a newer LCD screen that's not so washed out, and that is at least better with coming in terms of the colors and the blacks and all that. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal if you're somebody who really likes OLED screens. The Joy-Cons are going to be magnetic, as they showed us a bunch of times, rather than inserting them in. There's going to be bigger SL and SR buttons. Good, because trying to push those little buttons, you have to be super precise. It looks like it's going to be a bit more comfortable now. So there's going to be mouse control with the Joy-Cons, so if you're sitting on a desk playing, in the desktop mode, then you can use the Joy-Cons as a mouse for certain games. And one of the games they kind of showed off for that, which was one of the biggest ones, I think, was Metroid Prime 4. So it looks like you can move around your character and then also look and shoot enemies. So I think that's going to be pretty good. And then, of course, some pure speakers, a built-in mic, because it looks like they're trying to put more emphasis on having players connect with each other. We saw that through the new group chat feature, and so they added a mic with noise cancellation, and it looks like there's also 3D audio. There's, of course, a new stand. They now have two USB-C ports, one on the top and one on the bottom. It looks like storage that comes in the base model is going to be 256 gigabytes, which for me, it works because I don't really have many games. The one I have right now has 256 gigabytes, of course, with the extended storage, and I'm nowhere near filling up, on the base Switch. So all my games should be able to carry into the Switch 2. It looks like when you play in dock mode, it is going to support up to 4K, 60 FPS. There's a fan within the dock, and it looks like you'll be able to play Switch 1 games on your Switch 2 if they're compatible. And I'm pretty sure it covers everything surrounding the hardware, and now going into the games. Kind of start off with them announcing for the Switch 2 exclusively for the online paid membership, the expansion. They're adding GameCube games. It looks like they're starting with Zelda, Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and F-Zero's GX. And the GameCube console, I know, is a pretty important console. People around my age are a bit older, so it's nice to see those games get added to the membership. I don't think they outright showed Hollow Knight Silksong, but they showed a bit of clips here and there within all the list of games for the console. And it looks like they basically confirmed that's coming out this year. So I know a lot of people are excited for that. Personally, I haven't beat the first Hollow Knight, still going through that, but from what I'm seeing, Silksong looks like it's going to be a great game. So I'm sure if you're anticipating that, you're really excited right now. And then another thing I kind of wanted to discuss was they announced that there's going to be Cyberpunk 2077 on the console on launch day. And also it looks like they're going to have Elden Ring also be on the console. And like I said, for me, it's kind of crazy to see both of these games on the Switch 2 because, I mean, of course I was expecting the Switch 2 to be more powerful than the Switch 1, but it looks like in terms of the performance and the hardware, it looks like the hardware is going to be able to really support many high-end games. And, you know, I wasn't really expecting this much power coming from this system. So it's going to be interesting to see how these games are able to perform, of course, just in regular handheld mode, and of course, once the system is docked. So yeah, I'm kind of just curious to see how these games are able to perform. And when it comes to Elden Ring, they are calling it Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. So I don't know if that means that the DLC is going to be added with this edition. I mean, I would assume so, but based off the name, I would assume that the DLC is going to be coming with the base game. And then I kind of just wanted to cover the two biggest Nintendo exclusives that I want to talk about. I guess to really touch on it, there was like a new Kirby game where it looks like it's a racing game. I'm not going to touch on that too much because it didn't really excite me, but if you're interested in that, then I recommend checking it out. But just to cover the games that I was interested in, of course, there's a new Mario Kart World. So it looks like it's going to be an open world Mario game. So pretty much, you know, 24 racers. It looks like the whole map is kind of connected, and it looks like you'll be able to drive from like a racetrack to racetrack seamlessly. The characters just look more emotive. It looks like your cart can transform into a boat and even like an airplane. So it just looks like it's going to be a fun time. And then the last game they showed off was Donkey Kong Bonanza, and it will be coming out this year. So it just looks like an open world Donkey Kong game. I was expecting a 3D Mario game, but it looks like they're focusing on Donkey Kong for at least this year. They may still announce a 3D Mario coming this year, but I would expect it in 2026, especially since GTA 6 is coming out this year. So a lot of games are probably getting pushed further back. And I think it's kind of cool to see some different Nintendo IPs get a chance in the spotlight, like Donkey Kong. And pretty much, yeah, it's just a 3D Donkey Kong game. It looks like it's open world. The environments seem very destructive. It looks like you're able to kind of terraform the environment even. You see Donkey Kong going underground. Looks like there's a bunch of different environments, so it looks like a fun time. And then I kind of forgot to bring this up, but there was a new FromSoft game that was announced, and I'll just try to find the name of it real quick. So yeah, there's the Dusk Bloods, and at first when they showed off the trailer, of course it looked like Bloodborne 2, and I mean you can quickly realize that it wouldn't be like a Bloodborne sequel because those rights belong to Sony, and Sony probably won't ever do anything with Bloodborne, at least for a long time. So, and then I was thinking it was a Castlevania game because it looks like there was some kind of like vampire like references. So I was thinking it was Castlevania, but then you see the FromSoft logo come up, and pretty much what it looks like, it might just be, of course, the Souls like from FromSoft, and it looks like it'll be multiplayer. And I think in terms of multiplayer, I don't think it's going to be like Elden Ring Night Rain. I think it's probably going to be a bit more story focused, at least I would hope, because I know people might enjoy Elden Ring Night Rain because it's a bit more of a like a boss rush with like your friends or just some other online players. It looks like Duskblood may be a bit more like I said, story focused and a bit more, I think, smaller group. Well, I mean, in Night Rain you only play with like a couple people as well, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much they announce for this new FromSoft game, like what the mechanics looking like, just how does the game play itself in terms of, you know, story, or if it's a bit more like a boss rush. And the crazy thing that I feel like they talked about with this game is how it's exclusive to the Switch 2. So if you're big into FromSoft games and you want to try out the Duskbloods, then it looks like you might have to pick up a Switch 2 to play this game. So, and I think that's a big talking point, or a big, I guess, win when it comes to Nintendo, because I know FromSoft has like a large fan base, and they built a good reputation around them. So I think it's big for Nintendo to get their own like exclusive FromSoft game, like how PlayStation has Bloodborne as their own exclusive. So yeah, I think that's just a big win for Nintendo. But just in terms of how this whole Direct went, there was a lot of good announcements. I think my expectations were definitely surpassed in terms of how powerful I thought the hardware was going to be. And I think there was a good amount of announcements that I was not expecting, or even announcements that I was expecting but didn't show up. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I want to talk about in terms of this Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. If you sat through the whole thing, I'm super grateful, super thankful, and thank you for watching.